Folks, welcome to another week of So Bad It's Good. It's Monday. That means we're doing a pop culture roundup with the one, the only, the host of the amazing Snark Bait, Miss Sophie Ross. Brooks.
What?
Miss Sophie Ross, not Books. Brooks.
What was that?
I was just, I would say Brooks.
But today, Junior.
Whoa,
No.
whoa, wow. Look at this is what happens when somebody starts their own podcast. They get a big ego and they need to say words correctly all of a sudden.
I know, right? Yeah, all I do is pronounce words correctly. That's like what I'm known for.
Yeah. By the way, okay, so you did an episode on Dave Portnoy this week on Snark Bait, which everybody should go listen to. When you do these episodes about specific creators or people out there in kind of pop culture, do you find things that even surprise you? Because I think we have a vague awareness of Dave Portnoy and, not even just the bad things, but also he's done some good things. But what do you find, or what did you find in this episode that surprised you about Dave Portnoy?
Oh my God, I had no idea. I don't know if you knew about this, that he had posted on Barstool Sports, a blog, when one of Tom Brady's sons was just a toddler, posted a nude photo of one of Tom Brady's sons on Barstool Sports. Did you hear about this?
Wait, what? Wait.
Yes.
Why would he post Tom Brady, quarterback for the Patriots now? Now he's a sportscaster. Why would Dave Portnoy post a nude photo of Tom Brady's son?
I don't know, but it's like little things like that. Like, that's why it's great that we have someone who helps us research. Olivia, our researcher. If you listen to Snark Bait, we shout her out all the time. She does an amazing job of even we learn things when we do these deep dives on people. And that's not even the worst of it, believe it or not. He is a fucking menace, Dave Portnoy.
But how has he managed to get so successful and popular? And I see him now more than ever. I've watched many of his pizza reviews. Obviously he has Barstool and has all these podcasts out there. And he used to be married, and his wife actually has access to his entire, there's no agreement, right? She has full access to his hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, they're still technically married, I guess. But it's just like a cult of personality. He just has such a parasocial relationship with his quote unquote stoolies. And a lot of them are incels. A lot of them are really young, impressionable guys, or have started following him since they were really young and impressionable because he's been around for so long. It's really just a cult of personality. I don't know. The influence is insane. Even think about the fact that Barstool Sports has over 40 million followers on TikTok is insane to think about.
But also, don't they have a huge female fan base as well? Because they host they produce the pop culture podcast, that Chicks in the Office.
Yeah.
They have the Brianna Chicken Fry. They have that podcast. So they obviously have a very strong female, fan base as well.
It's concerning to me. But that's yes, he absolutely has started to attract more of a female audience through things like Chicks in the Office and Brianna Chicken Fry, and even back in the day, Call Her Daddy. And that's concerning to me.
Yeah.
But it works for him. He is able to attract such a large audience through his different multimedia platforms.
Yeah. And do you remember, this is, I think, about a year and a half, 2 years, maybe even longer, when I think a specific publication came after him for ways, in terms of him sleeping with women, he came after that reporter with guns blazing.
Oh, Business Insider.
Yeah, totally doxed Business Insider and the people that wrote this article. He came right out and lambasted.
Yeah. And the things that he did to those women... You have to listen to Snark Bait. Trigger warning. It's disgusting. And yeah, he has a history of doxing female reporters and just being an absolute menace to society. But somehow he's this mainstream guy that is pretty much uncancelable.
He kind of is uncancelable. But the reason I bring this up to start the show is that over the weekend, I don't know if you guys remember, I used to call him DJ James Kennedy, but I'll just call him James Kennedy now.
Oh, God.
Because I don't feel he deserves to be called DJ James Kennedy.
He doesn't deserve his title.
Was that he took a photo with the Tate brothers, right? And if you guys don't know the Tate brothers to me are menaces to society.
Yes.
And they fled Romania where they were up on a lot of different charges, including, is that back?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
You went out right when you were saying sex trafficking, I think. And I was like, are you like censoring yourself?
No, I was saying, no. I'm not meaning to laugh, but there was sex trafficking and trigger warning rape allegations as well. And then last week, or I don't know, a week and a half ago, they fled to Romania, and now they are here on U.S. soil being welcomed with open arms at a UFC event, I believe, this weekend. Like Mario Lopez hugging these people. But DJ James Kennedy takes a picture with these brothers, all happy, and he writes the comment, "That's a Bitcoin, .. And you know what that's in reference to, right?
No, what is that in reference to?
Okay, remember on the Vanderpump Rules, was it season 9 reunion when the artist formerly known as Rachel Leviss, gave DJ James Kennedy back the ring? He says, "That's a Bitcoin. That's a Bitcoin right there."
But like, why? Like, I don't understand. Like, why? Like, I don't know.
Okay, so anyways, these guys are truly reprehensible, and I do not mind. Like, I try to like pull my punches with a lot of people, but these men are truly disgusting.
Objectively disgusting. Yeah, wait, did Mario Lopez really hug them?
Oh yeah, there's footage of him like all hugging him at this UFC event.
Oh my god, fuck that.
Somebody sent me footage of. It wasn't just one picture with James Kennedy. James Kennedy was talking with these dudes for a while, and I think that's important. But then, of course, people were like, what the fuck are you doing, James Kennedy? Especially when you were just accused of being physically violent to your ex-girlfriend, Allie Luber. And so then in the last 24 hours, he put an Instagram story that said, "I regret posting a photo with the Tate brothers at an event last night. I was unfamiliar with their content and the allegations against them. I only knew them as podcasters that had posted a viral clip about Vanderpump. I have since educated myself and condemned their beliefs. I am sorry to all that I offended." I am so tired. I'm sorry to start this off so negatively, folks, but I am so tired of these fucking Instagram story apologies that are so bullshit. Because this James Kennedy knows exactly who these dudes are.
Exactly. Like, what was he thinking, first of all? Second of all, you want us to believe that you don't know what the Tate brothers are all about? Like, please, come on.
But lean into it. If you're proud to be like, if you're going to like post a photo and be all braggy about it, go all the way and go, I have similar beliefs. Obviously, even with my actions, you can tell I have similar beliefs.
Yeah.
And part of their whole shtick, the Tate brothers, is that women are the inferior sex. Is that you can tell a woman what to do, how to do it, when to have sex with you. They own you. That is one of their ethos. And a lot of men, this is what's dangerous, is a lot of boys, especially people like James Kennedy and much younger, follow this shit and think this is how you treat women.
It's disgusting. I wonder, do you think James Kennedy like still has like a management team? Like, do you think he still has a team? Because they're probably like fucking about to drop him for good if they haven't already.
I mean, so I thought, a lot of his Vegas residency got canceled, but then over the weekend he was posting photos DJing, I believe, at Live in Vegas. So I'm not sure. Listen, at the end of the day, it's a DJ, but I mean, for me, it was like that Sandoval thing at first. I think a lot of the magic of why I liked Tom Sandoval at that time went away. And with James Kennedy, when you introduce, these are like, big topics. When you introduce physical violence, things like that towards women, it takes the shtick out of it in terms of like, guys night, like making fun of James Kennedy. It's not even fun because it gets to a dark space where you're like, and if you are not going to be so hyper aware to not even fumble.
Right.
Why are you fumbling like this? Even if these are your beliefs, just from a strategic brand partnership business aspect, why would you ever align yourself? And by the way, they posted a viral clip about Vanderpump on their podcast, and that's why you wanted to take a picture with them?
Yeah, I'm sure that's why. Like, please, I don't even know what he's referring to, a viral like clip. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I mean, guys, I know, I'm sorry. I just read that. I was like reading about this today, and it just made me angry because
I know I actually talked about it today too when we recorded Snark Bait. It's disgusting. I just like, why are we normalizing sex traffickers, international sex traffickers? Like, why are we normalizing that?
if we can't get it right on the easy things,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so like I'm like if we can't even get it right like on the easy things. I mean, this is so funny. Like, so the Tate brothers landed in Florida, and like by the way, one of the only people that were like, "What?" was Ron DeSantis. Even was like, "I don't know if I want them in Florida." Like he was even like I don't want. What is happening?
If Ron DeSantis even admits that you're bad,
Yes.
then you're really, really, really bad.
So, anyways,
yeah, if we can't all agree that sex trafficking is like not good.
Like, I mean, are we talking about, are we normalize? Yeah, I mean, are we going to normalize sex traffic at some point where it was like, remember back in the day when we thought sex trafficking was bad and then we realized it was really wholesome and that God and everybody was like super into it?
It was just the woke mob.
The woke mob that loves sex. They hate sex trafficking. Anyways, in a positive, this is going to be a hard pivot. Happy daylight savings time. We get an extra hour of sun in Los Angeles. I'm in Arizona right now, so the time does nothing for the change. But what does the daylight savings time do for you in New York?
Oh my God, it makes me so happy. So right now I am in Chicago. Did I already say that when we started recording, or were we?
No, we talked about it off. We talked about it before.
So I'm in Chicago because my nephew just turned 2. He's a Sandoval baby. And by
the way, when she says a Sandoval baby, she means he was just really into that storyline on Sandoval.
Yeah.
No,
I meant that his daddy is Sandoval. No, I'm joking.
What's up, dude? I'm partying with Sophie Rothbrook. Don't do an episode of Snark Bait on me, dude. Please do not. I don't need that, dude.
So Sandoval was like happening while my sister was in labor. Like I remember it so vividly, and she was so entertained. But yeah, so I'm in Chicago and I went out to dinner with my friend and walking out of the restaurant at 7 p.m. Chicago time, and the sun was still out. It was setting, but it was still out. Oh my God, the wonders that does for my mental health.
The
Life
serotonin.
is worth living. Also, I don't know. It's just like 1 hour that we lost. And maybe it's because like there's a full house at my sister's house for my nephew's birthday. So I've been having.
Yeah, by the way, Sophie and her husband are sleeping on the couch right now.
Yeah, one couch.
So it's
both of us.
It's a packed place where Sophie is right now.
So I'm just like so tired, and all we did was we just lost 1 hour. Like why? I have not been able to stay awake all day. It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't usually take naps, but I was like at a festival this weekend in Arizona before I went and saw my dad, which I was, Sophie texted me while I was watching her favorite band, LCD Sound System. And LCD Sound System is one of my favorite bands, and I think they're amazing live. And there's actual documentation that Sophie felt comfortable enough to put on her Instagram stories of her pretty much falling asleep at an LCD Sound System show in New York. And I was like, wow. But also, I want on a positive note, it just shows that we can all get along. Even if Sophie has bad music taste, we can get along and it's okay. Like, I don't hate you for falling asleep in an LCD sound
I don't think I admitted this at the time. I don't know why, but no, I got poisoned that night from my friend gave me like chocolate mushrooms. And I told you I threw up. Like I ended up throwing up in the Uber home. Like I was so nauseous the entire time. And that's why. I don't know why. I like at the time, but I think with the passage of time, I'm like, I'm not going to get arrested for this.
Somebody breaks into your sister's apartment right now and arrests you immediately. They send you to Romania where the Tate brothers came from. They're like, you're out. You're out.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways,
the feds. But anyway, I feel like I would enjoy it if I hadn't been poisoned.
Okay. I will give you that.
Wait, are you going to tell them what I texted you?
Should I?
Basically. So you guys know that like Henry, my husband, is like very like he's very serious, like he's very pragmatic. And you know,
he's like Turner Coufé, Lindsay Hubbard's baby daddy.
He's basically Turner Coufé. And and he, you know, we talk about people on our podcast. We talk about celebrities. We talk about famous people. And he was like, have you ever thought about getting like defamation insurance? And I was like, honestly, no. He was like, you should ask Brian. And so I texted Brian. I was like, do you have defamation insurance? Like Henry wants to know. And Brian was just like, no, should I?
By the way, imagine really like enjoying this concert. You just drove like 7 hours to Arizona, and like you're like finally like your band's on, and you're like having like a special memory. And I'm with my buddy Matt, and all of a sudden I get this text, and then I'm like, oh fuck, what did I say? I'm literally going through 1,000 episodes, and then I realize, wait a sec, I pull a lot of punches, but Sophie will sometimes go hard. So then I was like, whoa, what happened? Because I do have thoughts on this, and through the course of this 5 years, there have been moments where I've gotten in hot water, but nothing to the degree of some other creators that I've seen like people go after. But also with defamation insurance, you have to prove that what we are saying is completely wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also,
that's what I always say when people are like, are you worried about getting sued? And it's like, no, I took one journalism ethics class in college, and the like bar that you have to meet to sue someone for slander, defamation, whatever it is, like it's very difficult to sue someone for that. So like,
God,
don't come for me,
by the way,
unless I send for you.
This is the episode at the jury trial that we eventually both have to be at. They will play, and they're like, look at them cackling. These evil, evil people. It's like these evil people. Look at them enjoying the cackling. But the ones I get scared for is that's like the celebrity blinds of it all. And if, like Crazy Days and Nights, it has literally been proven that some of these are just wall-to-wall made up. Or even Dumois in the past, there has been certain, I'm not saying about making up, but like she's talked about Taylor Swift in certain ways, where Tree Payne, Taylor's publicist, has directly, I believe, came after Dumois in the past. And that's the point where I don't have the constitution or the stomach for it. I would literally shit myself repeatedly if all of a sudden you get Taylor Swift's publicist upset at you. I don't know how I would continue.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No, then you're kind of in trouble, I feel like. Taylor Swift also and Tree Payne are very famously like litigious.
Well, litigious. I just wanted to say, I just wanted to save you from that one. And by the way, this is learning because the next time Sophie uses that word on Snark Bait, which by the way, did
I pronounce it like that? Litigious? Like I've never heard it pronounced like that. It's not even a hard word. No, litigious.
But at our court trial that will be happening, Sophie's going to embarrass us even further on the stand when she goes, "This litigious is just crazy right now. I don't deserve this."
I'll be like, this litigation, I do not deserve.
This whole litigious court is out of order.
This litigiousness.
Okay, so I got my anger out about the James Kennedy stuff. Now on to positive Vanderpump Rule news. We had Icon meeting Icon last night in New York, and I was hoping that Sophie was in New York so she could just tell me what the vibe was in New York, because
I could feel it from here.
Okay, because I can feel it in Arizona. Lady Gaga did double duty like Timothée Chalamet on SNL, where she hosted and the musical guest. And Miss Scheana Shay got to meet Lady Gaga and get pictures with her. And this all is on the heels of Vanity Fair did a lie detector test with Lady Gaga, and they talked about, are you sad about like the new cast of Vanderpump Rules? And she said the thing that makes like the person I will miss the most is Scheana. And Scheana took this information and Scheana found a way to get to Saturday Night Live. She saw the show and then she did the after party and she got the picture. And I have to tell you, there was a part of that healed me. I thought I was very happy for Lady Gaga, not even for Scheana. I'm glad that Lady Gaga got to meet Scheana.
I completely agree. I feel like Scheana needed this. She deserved it. I'm really happy for her. I'm happy for her.
Scheana has a book coming out in June, and I threw out this idea is that I would like Lady Gaga to write the foreword for Sheena's book, or to do a little blurb on the back like, this is the best book I've read since John Grisham's The Firm or something,
be like one word on like the cover. It'll be like captivating, like Rolling Stone, or like whatever it is, or like hilarious, Amy Poehler. It'll just be like one word.
Fantastic.
Lady Gaga. Yeah, Gaga.
So I had known that she was going to New York, and like this was then last night I saw the EDM group Justice and my favorite mashup artist Girl Talk, and I was having the time of my life. And then I kept going on Instagram because I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I would get that Gaga Scheana photo. And then finally I texted Scheana at like 10. I was like, where's the photo already, Scheana? Where is it? She's like, I am trying to, don't worry, I'm here. I'm trying to get it. And she goes, but if I get it, I'm not going to post it until Friday for my podcast. And I was like, and I just wrote, get the period photo because I wanted to see this and I cannot wait to hear what they talked about. Like isn't there some part of you that wants to know what a superstar like Lady Gaga would speak with Scheana about?
Oh my God, I would pay so much money to like be a fly on the wall.
Well, do you think they might have talked about the revelation this week? And Sophie, I know we are anti-drug in so many ways. So, and by the way, this is joking. Everybody don't, be careful, no drugs, all that stuff. But it was revealed this week that Jax Taylor from Vanderpump Rules fame, he admitted to having a substance abuse issue for 22 years on the Hot Mic podcast with Alex Baskin, who also produces Vanderpump Rules, Real Housewives of Orange County, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Sophie, how shocked were you?
I, for one, was shocked.
Yes, very much
I could not pick my jaw.
By the way, don't mention jaw when you're talking about coke, because there were so many scenes of Jax throughout the series where he looked like he had jaw issues.
I am happy for him that he recognized that he has a problem and he's getting himself help. And I am sad for the toll this has clearly taken on his, his relationship with his soon-to-be ex-wife, his son Cruz. Yeah. Addiction is horrible. It's horrible. Also, like, just as a side note, and Watch What Happens Live when Sandoval was asked about it, and Sandoval was like, yeah, of course I knew. I mean, like, I was like, he basically said as much that he was doing it with him he was like, yeah, I mean, okay. I was,
okay. So Sandoval and Kyle Cook, I mean, what a team up on Watch What Happens Live on Wednesday after Summer House. And, it was like, hey, are you proud of Jax? Like, of course I am, dude. He's really doing it this time. I swear. And Andy did that follow-up question of like, were you aware? And even Sandoval, I thought was like almost in a double take of like, are we supposed to admit that that I've done it as well? Like you could tell he wanted to admit that he's like, yeah, you're goddamn right. I knew he did that stuff. Like we've seen it in multiple episodes. Like I even posted something of like when Sherry, Brittany's mom, visited after he cheated on her with Faith, she surprise visited it, and he like looks gacked out of his head, and like his eyes are coming out of his skull. And then I remember taking a photo on my screen and zooming in, and you can literally see white shit just coming down the middle of his lip. And I was like, oh my God.
On his wedding day.
Yeah, I mean, the wedding day, if you guys, this is how intensive fans that we watch the show, you can see on the table at his wedding day that, and you can usually tell too, it's like the number one guy in the group. Like usually at the finale of each season, Jax would have some moment where he seemed completely gacked out and his eyes would bulge out and he would be like pointing and screaming.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a.
Yeah. And now Brittany, she did a podcast because they still co-own the podcast when reality hits and they take turns on who hosts it. And Brittany had Kristen Doute on this week, you guys. And it was just like, listen, I have tried to help this man for years. She even said in a statement when this first came out of like, of course we want him to be better and we want this. But I think Brittany is also acknowledging what we all know is that unfortunately we have this record of showing that Jax has been a liar for so many of his years on this earth. So as much as, I think this is so brave, it's also, I don't think maybe consciously, but there's a PR element of this of he's getting ahead of his behavior on the Valley season 2, because we will see him be, from what I hear, a very horrible person on this
season. Rock bottom.
And he has to be made to go to a mental health facility. But Sophie, did you realize in this podcast, they also talk about, and it's so weird because Alex Baskin has known these guys forever. He does a really decent interview and they feel like they should just reveal everything, I think, because he's their boss. But he had to get into a second facility over the holidays because he raged out in a car with his son and Brittany. He went in, and that's amazing, right? Like he said, this time I'm really taking it serious, but he only went 17 days and he said, I got it. I feel it. This is exactly what I needed, and skipped the last 13 days. Now, if you talk to any sort of addict or any person that runs a program, that's really dangerous to leave. And a lot of people will fool themselves because they're like, oh, I got a good handle on myself, to leave early. That's really hard. But to Jax's credit, if he is telling the truth, he is now 100 days sober.
Which, good for him.
Yes.
Very good for him. It's so crazy that like it just I wonder what the exact like, and I know we're gonna see it on the Valley. I wonder what the exact like breaking point was. Like, I know we talk about rock bottom. It's like, if we've been watching Vanderpump Rules for so long, like there have been many times where you could say that Jax has hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like what?
Multiple. I mean, by the way, in terms of like, you're either a top or a bottom in the gay lifestyle, Jax is like a full-on bottom, not in terms of the gay lifestyle, but just how many bottoms this dude hits season after season.
He's been a work in progress now for 13 years.
Yeah. Yes, he truly is a working. He would always say that at the reunion, that he's a work in progress. Like, he's really good at saying the right things. I mean, we all know that.
I just wonder what like the breaking point was, I guess. Like, was it like that he like, it was at a point where it felt like he was putting his family in danger?
Well, from what I understand from the interview, he was freaking out in the car. I believe he saw that this guy, Julian, which I think will be a storyline on the Valley, who Jax says was one of his really good friends. Brittany counters that of like, this dude was not really good friends with Jax, but they were having like flirties. Like, it wasn't some like insane, like deep relationship. It was, but also mind you, to not to stand up for Brittany too much here, but like Jax was legitimately having multiple relationships throughout their relationship. Not to say that, but, and also they were separated. And
also, he was mean to Brittany and like hated her and like told her that he wasn't attracted to her anymore. Like, what do you want her to do? Be celibate?
Well, you guys, remember the audio that we never got to hear, that like of him talking to Faith that Brittany heard. And it was literally about, I don't want to have kids with her. I'm not attracted with her. And so there were signs already before this engagement that he, like he had the correct feeling all along and how he treated her. But I guess the moment was he was yelling at her in this car. His son is in the back seat. And I guess he was like raging. And then I think he looked back and saw that his son was hearing all of this and that he scared his son. And that was the moment. And I do tend to and want to believe that, because I think he does love his son very much. And maybe I really do believe that, and said, Brittany said, you need to go back. And he was like, you're right. But I think Jax tends to embellish, just like Craig Conover. Craig Conover does it in a way more attractive way, because Jax legitimately will scare me sometimes.
It's just like really freaking sad that a child is involved. And I think that like, that's why, first of all, we all knew that Brittany and Jax were doomed. I'm sorry. Like, even at her bachelorette party, remember, people were like, don't marry him, like with the sign. And then finding out that they were bringing a child into the world, like, and look, any child is a blessing. And, it's just,
that's not a blanket. I mean, they're jerks, some kids.
Like, I don't think my parents would like agree with that statement.
Yeah. They're like, they love your sister Amanda. Me,
not so much. Yeah. But like, it's just the fact that they brought a child into the mix when their relationship was always fucked and always dysfunctional is so fucking sad. And that's why not everyone should have kids or bring a child into this world. Like, it's just so freaking sad for Cruz.
And I'll do you one better. If you do have a kid and do have that, maybe really think twice before you go on reality television.
Yeah. And like, from what I've gathered, and I am no Brittany fan. I think that Brittany has her fair share of flaws and problematic moments and enabling Jax. I also think she's a victim of Jax.
Yes.
I think from what it seems, she's doing a good job of trying to protect Cruz and be a good mom.
Yes,
and
100%.
I gotta commend her for that. So at least there's that.
But think about, like, all of a sudden this Hot Mic podcast drops. I don't think Brittany was aware of what he spoke about specifically. So all of a sudden now she's in like having to answer for his behavior again. And also he does this thing where he wants you to have sympathy and empathy for him. And if you admit you're a, addict for 22, 23 years, it's almost like it's from looking at PR, it's a pivot because in a sense it works because if you do not have some goodwill or at least some hope for somebody saying I have a problem, then yeah, like there is, we should always have hope for these people, but we always have to there's got to be a tight leash on Jax because you just never know. Addictions are addictions for a reason. You can't just snap a finger and then it's all done.
Yeah, it's a disease.
It's really, really hard. And I think I root for anybody wanting to fix their life, but I just hope that it's for like The Bachelor says, for the right reasons. And that, because I know he has a lot of rage inside of him as well. And if you listen, he did that Hot Mic podcast the first time after he got out of the first mental health facility. And then this second one. So if you compare those two interviews, he says a lot of the same things where it's like, nope, I'm better now. Turns out I was bipolar. Turns out this. And I'm not making fun of those things, but he does seem to always kind of go by this script because I remember hearing the first interview and going good for him. That's great. So we'll see. But this is the dark part for us. How excited are you for season 2 of The Valley now?
Extremely excited. I mean, regardless, I was going to be excited. I definitely am very curious to just see how this all plays out. Again, because I feel like there have been so many moments that should have been rock bottom for Jax. It's like, how bad is this going to get? Yeah. And it's like, it's probably not going to be easy viewing at times. I'm sure it's going to be really bad.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some really scary moments because Brittany did want to be with this guy and did enable him and protect him from a lot of things, So anyways, that is coming up, I believe, in early April, I believe the Valley premiere is. I don't have an exact date yet, but I know it's coming up. So that was interesting. What did you think of the Traitors finale and reunion, Sophie?
I thought that the finale had such a happy ending.
I know,
was very
it made
satisfied.
me feel good.
It was a feel-good ending
good.
Because none of them tried to screw each other over like Trishelle and CT did to MJ last season when the Faithfuls won.
But also that was a very exciting television moment. But I know what you mean. This was a good feeling where they were all
wholesome.
Faithfuls and they all because I thought at the last minute Dolores was gonna throw hers and it was gonna turn red because Andy pointed out at the reunion Dolores had voted wrong 8 out of 10 times, and I was like. But what I loved is that if they were faithfuls, but also thinking about the prize pot, they would have tried to get Dolores and possibly Ivar out of there so they could have more money, and they didn't. And it shows that at the end of the day, they just actually did want to end with faithfuls. And I thought there was a positive message in that.
Exactly. There was. Dolores was useless. I don't think she deserves the $2,000 that she's going to get after taxes.
Wait.
Which, by the way, you guys, they really need to up the ante with this spot. This is the biggest show of the moment on Peacock, I imagine.
No, Sophie, it's the number one unscripted reality show on television right now, not just on Peacock.
This prize pot is not good enough. I'm sorry.
Oh, for even me, with very little saved money in the bank, I'm like, what am I fucking gonna do with that?
Yeah,
how am I gonna? I can't get a defamation lawyer with that.
You're splitting $200K 4 ways.
And remember,
look,
you got a man. These people all have managers.
These
people, you got to get 15% to a manager, 10% to your agent. You probably spent so much money on your clothes. Yeah. Wait. Wait, Sophie, are taxes still a thing? I thought Trump did away with those. Is that a thing still?
Hate to say it, you guys.
No, God.
Also, it's tax season, so just a friendly reminder, everyone.
Oh, I visited my tax person, or I got my first tax person a couple weeks ago, and it's
I always know
not a great time.
I'm sorry. I always know someone is in a different tax bracket, no pun intended, when they have a tax person.
No.
For some reason, that always feels like an upper middle class thing to me because I just use TurboTax because there's not a lot going on in there. It's not too complicated. So
I don't have a tax person in the sense of a different tax bracket. There have been a couple of things that I have made mistakes on over the years. So there's, hey, I know it's going to shock people. I might have made a couple of mistakes. So it's not an actual, there's not, trust me, it's not something wow. Okay, so anyways, the Traitors, It was just a great season overall. I wanted to just ask you though, Brittany they left it on this cliffhanger. Will Brittany vote for Ivar or Danielle?
I was shocked.
Right? So they really,
Shocked.
I went back all week and I talked to Brittany. I didn't ask her who she voted for because I didn't want to be spoiled, but I thought, okay, it's got to be Ivar. It's got to be because it's so obvious at this point. And she voted Danielle. And that kind of spilled over into the reunion. But Brittany made the point of like, girl, you act like we're lifelong best friends. And I've only known you for like a cumulative, talked around like 3 hours at one point and then reindeer games.
That was kind of sad. I felt bad because I feel like they actually were really close during the game. Like Brittany was sobbing when she thought that Danielle might be murdered or taken out of the game or whatever it was. Like she was sobbing. Like don't act like you didn't give a fuck about your friendship.
No. I think two things can be true at once.
Yes.
I think, and by the way, she actually did say she does like Danielle. She wasn't saying but she was just saying like to the length that people think there was like this grudge, like, oh my God, it's like they hate each other. And it's like, that's not true at all. But I think she was upset. And but also that's part of a strategy as well. I think she also pointed out in that final episode, she's like, I think I laid it on a little thick with the tears in that round table where I don't know if she was just saying I made myself a little suspicious in my reaction because I was telling Bergie, it's like, if you're a faithful, the game is super hard in the beginning, but if you're a traitor, the game is super hard at the very end. Because, think about it. Danielle had survived all of these people, Boston Rob. And by the way, I'm not saying I'm a Danielle fan stan, but I did finally appreciate the last episode and a half where I'm like, now I see you. I see the confidence. I see the act. You're flipping your hair back. I see the game you're playing. But I almost think it's frustrating because in the talking heads, they don't sometimes reveal, okay, this is a strategy. So you sometimes just feel like, oh, so your strategy is just being a mess. But I felt like now I see it, but there was no way she was going to win at the end with the mistakes she made.
And I think and we've talked about this before, that there is kind of just like a flaw when it comes to the structure of the game, that the incentive to banish traitors isn't enough. You have more of an incentive to buddy up to the traitors and bring them to the end. Yep. So you have people like Dylan and Brittany now coming out and saying, I knew that Danielle was a traitor.
Yep.
I knew she was, but it's like, so the show was trying to tell us one thing, but we know the truth is something else.
It's frustrating, but it's also brilliant because you realize how much great editing is involved.
Yeah.
They're also misdirecting the audience through the edit. And I don't necessarily begrudge them of that. But I do realize that even Dylan says at the reunion, he was like, I was watching Boston Rob on Deal or No Deal Island, which is actually a pretty decent series on NBC if you like competition reality series. And he said his whole strategy is to pick like a rookie, take him to the very end and kill him. So Dylan already knew that about Boston Rob, and he wasn't talking about that in his talking head.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, that's why Traitors UK is superior. Because
wait. So the new season I just saw is on Peacock now. The third
it's on
season.
Peacock now?
Well, the new season is the third season,
Traitors
right?
UK?
I just checked on Saturday. It's up there.
Okay, I was just saying how tired I am. I'm not going to bed tonight. I know what I'm doing.
Poor Henry. Oh, come on.
I know. On my couch that I'm sharing with him.
But if you're into gameplay, I would say get into the UK, get into the different iterations. Somebody recommended, I think, the Canadian version. And I also want to point out.
Is that on Peacock?
No, I don't believe that's on Peacock.
Yeah.
So I was on the Sam Sanders show this week with Rachel Lindsay from The Bachelorette, and it was such a fantastic conversation about production of reality. Mm-hmm. Is the bubble bursting? And, I was pointing out the fact that the Traitors is a brand that I believe started in the UK, and now they've sold it to so many different markets. It's already so profitable. Like the US version is an anomaly in the sense that it's succeeding because of the reality show genre and all the different genres thrown into one. But all the other iterations are pretty straight gameplay. The second season of Australia had some reality people, but other than that, they've sold this to every different territory, and they are making a killing, the producers of this. And you can see it on screen. They put a lot of money into it. Just put more money into the prize pot. That's all we ask.
Yeah, exactly. But that's really interesting to think about, the bubble bursting with reality TV.
Yeah, like I feel like it's now more than ever. I feel like I'm inundated with reality, but when you really look at it, there's only these. You got your Bravo, you got your TLC, you got your Netflix. Like, but these are like the juggernauts.
The competition reality shows, I think, will continue to thrive. I think that, like, I don't know, like some of the Bravo shows even are just not, we know that they don't hit like they used to because everyone is too concerned with like social media and the audience perception. But it's really, I feel like it's really gotten bad where everyone is, to quote Kyle Cook, trying to have a moment. Like I'm sorry, I know this is controversial. I do think that Paige was trying to have a moment. I'm sorry.
Wait, you're talking about with Kyle this week, which is like, you call me two-faced?
I think she was trying to have a moment, and I also don't
trying to have a moment with that bed that she's melded to. Sorry, gigglers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't have anything else except these little like lines that I feel like at this point are very like recited. Like I think she might be reciting them in the mirror. Hate to say it, you guys, hate to say it, but I just do not think that she has a leg to stand on in this fight. I understand that Kyle putting her in the middle was not great. And I understand that Kyle does have a massive ego, but you're talking about Hannah Berner and Craig Conover here. I understand why Kyle is mad that these people, the Craig and the Spritz thing, whatever. Like that's like, there's
Sophie,
a whole lot of
I've lost family members to this Spritzer war.
I know.
The Great Spritzer War of 2024 has torn families apart.
I know.
We're grown men fighting over spritzers. Wait, but to your point, what I want to ask you though about this. So you say, like, I agree with you. Kyle has a leg to stand on in the sense that Hannah did lie on Call Her Daddy.
Hannah's
and he does point out, and this seems to be like, man, how is Craig going to beat all of these allegations? Because now here is another person on a different show going, Craig manipulates the truth again and again and again.
Yes.
But here's where Kyle got it wrong. Why the fuck is that Paige's issue that he has to go through Paige? Man up, go to Hannah, go to Craig. Don't go through Paige.
It's not. I don't think he was like, maybe he was quote unquote rage texting her. I really think that he was trying to, like he said, vent to his friend or trying to gauge where she stands. Because at some point, silence is complicity. And when you are enabling someone like Hannah Berner, you are becoming complicit. And I think it's interesting that Paige says, well, silence is complicity when Craig doesn't stand up for her about the cheating rumors.
I like this, yes.
But for some reason, Craig literally said, I'm staying out of it. But apparently that's wrong. When Paige says, I'm staying out of it, she's completely hands are clean. It's like at what point is she complicit for enabling her friend? And I think the same thing when it comes to the Vanity Fair Meg the Stallion scandal that's been happening.
Okay, so
it's crazy that Paige has gotten off scot-free so much.
What Sophie just introduced there is something that we talked about earlier this week in regards to the Vanity Fair red carpet, where Hannah Berner said, "Your music makes me. I put it on when it makes me want to fight. I want to fight people."
Among other microaggressions.
Yes, which obviously is a microaggression. Yeah. Hannah finally apologized on her Instagram stories at the beginning of Giggly Squad, which almost sounded like an ad read of like, here at Giggly Squad, we'd like to apologize for microaggressions made against Megan Thee Stallion. We love her music very dearly. Now, Paige, I don't believe, has commented directly unless
no, she hasn't. But they had a whole
all.
episode addressing the cheating rumors, for instance. It's like you couldn't have a more than 60-second like conversation. It wasn't even a conversation at all. It was just Hannah reading her statement that she posted on Instagram. So it's like, at what point is Paige complicit in Hannah's bullshit? You know what I mean?
Well,
like
the clock, the internet comes for everybody one day, and it's whether you want to be able to learn from your mistakes, you want to be able to try to understand and have a conversation, or if you just completely are shut down at that point and say, I am right. And there's a lot of huge egos involved. And so on reality TV, we always have the biggest egos of all egos. And that's what you're saying in that. But like, yes, I love, like, Paige is very great with her words. She's really good in a fight. And Kyle is really good at crying. So for me, it's a great, like, it's like the Joker and Batman. I really love when they do that because Kyle eventually goes and cries somewhere. And that's always a giggle for me.
Did you see like the first like 3 minutes of next week's Summer House where they remember it leaves off with Kyle and Paige talking on the beach?
Yes.
They make up. They make up.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
It's over in 2 seconds. Exactly. It's like she wasn't. I don't think she was actually like that mad or that upset.
No, in fact,
I think that she wanted a moment.
Well, but okay, but let's devil's advocate as well. Remember, she originally showed Sierra these text messages at DJ Diplo Kyle Cook's party in the city. Now they don't go to the summer house until 4 days after that event. Now, do we think this is the first time she showed Sierra these text messages? No. Now, also, do you wait if you are friends with somebody for 4 days to tell them that you are upset? No, but this is reality television. So just like Sandoval in that New York Times article said years ago, I think about my life like I'm always on a reality show. So I'm always thinking in 3 different ways. When it happens, how it's going to be received, and what it's going to be like in a talking head, which is the darkest thing ever. And Kyle will tell you, even though he cries, he knows that makes good television. So he will. Summer House and Vanderpump Rules especially have the same ethos of, or even this week on Southern Charm, where Shep told Scheana, no, we have to have this conversation. Scheana was like, I wanted to do this after you and your friends left. And he was like, and you made me do this here, because he knows this makes television. So I'm not blaming Paige specifically, because I feel like they all do it. Like on shows that actually are worth their salt, you all have to do it this way. That is not necessarily the exact reality, if that makes sense.
That's true. I mean, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I know it's an unpopular opinion. I feel it's like one of those moments where I feel like, you know, there are some things where the entire Bravo audience agrees. And then there are some things where everyone is so divided and feels so strongly. It's like one of those where I'm like, I am on a different side than it feels like everyone else. And I feel gaslit by it. I'm like, why are people acting like Hannah Berner and Craig Conover or like the source of truth? And I know it's mostly about Kyle going to Paige, but I think he went to Paige as a friend to see where she stood. Because again, silence is sometimes complicity.
Okay, but Sophie, I just, what I would like see, to me, I would understand just through watching Paige that Paige has defended Hannah up and down. Obviously, Giggly Squad is huge. Obviously, her boyfriend is Craig. Unless they have some like text relationship, and I'm not saying like something weird is going on, but unless this is somebody you lean on all the time, I don't, and especially because, you know, Amanda gets weird about Paige and Kyle's relationship. Why would you do that just thinking down the line that, oh my God, Paige will blow up on me eventually? I mean, it's like Jackson's cocaine. There's a pattern here.
No, I think that Kyle and Paige are better friends and closer than we realize. Like, you'll see when you watch that clip of them on the beach making up, like they are close. Like they're close. Like they exchange I love yous.
Does he say, can I get a hug? Can I get a hug? Tighter. Like Carl and Lindsay,
tighter.
Can I get a hug?
Put your weight on me. No, they exchange I love yous and like I care about our friendship and blah, blah, blah. Like I really think they are closer than we realize. And I think that was genuinely him trying to A, either vent to her, or B, really trying to gauge her reaction and see like if she agrees with what Hannah was spewing, because she was dragging his name, lying on him. I'm sorry. Once again, I will reiterate, if you have not watched Summer House Season 5, no one got Hannah Berner fired except herself.
Okay, yeah. This is something I have noticed. There's revisionist history with Bravo fans as well. I have done this at times myself, but Hannah is not one of those examples. I can say this with a clear conscience because I can also say that Hannah's in a much better spot now, and she's very successful. I mean, obviously a huge slip up this past week, but other than that, she is very successful. Yes. So she did the right thing. But I have gone back and watched that season. She was horrific, and not in a way where it was entertaining and somebody that you secretly rooted for. And if we can't be honest about that, it's like when I have like many people I respect that were like bending themselves like pretzels trying to tell me that Dolores was secretly had this strategy of to continue to vote wrong. That was a strategy because Dolores is brilliant and she knows all along. I'm like, what are you doing to yourselves? No.
Also, what? Yeah, and before you say, it was a COVID season, she was just cooped up in a house and it made her go crazy. Then why did she show up to the reunion? She could have shown up to the reunion and saved her job and been like, yeah, guys, I really fucking lost it last summer. It was almost a year later, but no.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, I would have had it just at the moment, like you're like having your bodily fluids in my bathroom area. When she had sex with Des, in Kyle.
It was also about things that she was saying on podcasts. So not even when they were in the house. It was stuff that she was saying outside of the house.
But also
about her other cast members.
Where I will stand up for Kyle is that she did blatantly lie to Alex Cooper about the getting fired from Summer House. Like she
Exactly.
like that, and by the way, she
That's
knows
what I'm saying.
that's not
I'm
true.
like, I get why Kyle is mad. And it's crazy that everyone's acting like he doesn't have a leg to stand on, but he does. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That whole
Anyways.
episode, I just think I'm ready for Summer House to maybe just like start from scratch. I'm like kind of just
No,
I love the
Sophie,
OGs.
I'm still enjoy. I still really, for some reason, that's like a very comforting show. Like, I don't know. I just like it for some reason.
I love the OGs and watching the OGs. I also love, I'm sorry, I love the Jesse, Lexi. Like, this is what Bravo
I'm glad
and
you brought- I'm
Vanderpump
glad-
are built on.
I'm glad you brought this up because I'm realizing that Lexi actually has like a huge following. So this is bringing younger people in, but that's not even my issue. My issue, and this is so sad, I have to feel like I have to do this week in, week out now, is like you have like people, Sophie, in your life that you're like, oh, you try to teach them a lesson and like they always get it wrong. Do you have that in your life at all?
But yeah, probably.
Okay, yeah. So they're like one of my good friends. She liked Jesse Solomon, and then she realized he was a creep. Then she liked him again, and then just a couple weeks ago, we did a podcast, said, oh, I get it, he's a full creep. And then I'm scrolling Instagram the other day, and I happen upon a Jesse Solomon post, and the first like I see is this person that I'm speaking of. And I don't know if you've connected the dots yet, but that person is Sophie Ross. And I texted Sophie, I just said, you never learn. And it was like, there was a sadness there was like a heaviness. I was like a long day. I had a lot of work. And then I was just wanting something positive. And then just to know that a person that to my face, of course, this is like through the internet. So it's not, but like to tell me that you understand where I'm coming from and that you also think he is dangerous and a creep. And then to see that the first like that I see is yours this wasn't a post from like a year ago or months ago. It was that day. What is your line of thinking? You guys,
sometimes you're just scrolling and you like double tap.
Oh, and then you guys, she had the balls to say, I really like his new song. Like, why would you
It's good. I'm sorry,
I'm saying to myself and nobody else what's going on. But by the way, Jesse Solomon does have a new single. And I will say there is a catchiness to it. It's like a throwback. It's like how would you do like adult contemporary?
It's kind of like, I couldn't tell you what Harry Connick Jr. sounds like, but it's giving Harry Connick Jr.
Sophie, I shit you not. I was about to say Harry Connick Jr., except that Harry Connick Jr. plays piano, but it is that kind of adult contemporary, like
Michael
jazz
Bublé,
standard.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. And
Jesse Solomon is Frank Sinatra.
No, Sophie, I'm going to kill you. I'm legitimately going to kill you. Jesse, he posted a TikTok a couple of days, and this is all in good fun, but he was like staring out the window, and he's like, and the caption was like, when you joined a reality show a couple of seasons ago, and now you have your first actual single being released. And it was like this like kind of like positive thing, which is great. Go check out the song, you guys. I actually do find it catchy, but it's just, I don't know, it's just so funny. This guy is still... I just love that his potentially, I'm just so excited to see where the Lexi relationship goes, because you can tell in a talking head, he goes, I'm willing to like sort of change. Like, what sort of change mean?
No, you guys, like, I feel like Lexi has been getting a lot of shit from...
Why is Lexi getting shit from anybody? Why?
We talk about
She's done nothing wrong.
We talk about misogyny a lot when it comes to...
Shout out Tate Brothers.
Yeah, like I know we talk about misogyny a lot. I think that this is an example of the Bravo audience having a lot of internalized misogyny against this like 25-year-old girl who's young and beautiful.
What's one example of something she did
exactly
weird?
No, people are like, I don't like Lexi, she sucks, like she's thirsty. She has not done anything. Like, and I'm sorry, this is what these shows are built on, is these messy young people hooking up. I'm sorry. And also like Danielle from Summer House, to all of her faults, she was always down to go out.
Danielle clocked in,
why
dude.
is no one going out anymore? Summer used to be fun.
When Rule's the new cast member that like openly is proud of like orgies and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, right. Like, but could you like if Lindsay wasn't pregnant and obviously with her dude, like that Lindsay, Danielle, Rule conversation in the kitchen, I was like in a different season of Summer House, there would have been a threesome between those three. And I still think Danielle will hook up with Rule at some point this season.
Yeah,
There's
I
there's a
mean,
curiosity there
you
of
could
somebody
tell that
wears.
she wanted it, and I know they say there's like a threesome that happens. It's definitely what if it was Emerald, Danielle, and Lindsay?
What if it was Emerald, West, and Jesse? No, this is how. But this is. I talked about this on the recap I did of it, and I want to throw my theory out to you. Is that like there's a difference? Like Wes and Jesse, they literally seem in awe of this dude. Like Danielle lets him know the next day of like, dude, Emerald brought a girl home to the house, and they're like, whoa, no. Oh my god! I
like,
call
is it
him,
really that crazy? Like, what do you mean?
but also they seemed like so like, oh my god, this dude's a god. I call him Orgy Beast. Like I call him Orgy Beast. They're like, oh my god, can I smell your fingers, dude? But here's the difference: is that Emerald wears it like proudly. He says, "This is who I am. I'm open," or at least that's what he tells us. I'm open. I communicate. This is what I like. Wes and Jesse, they go the other route. They get women emotionally attached to them when all they want to do is what Rule is doing, is seeing private parts and doing things with them. So, but they're putting an emotional aspect of this where like Sierra fell in love or fell in deep like with West. They're not being open in the way Rule is. So like, yeah, take some rules from Rule, but also guys, just admit at this point, I just want to have sex and I don't want to have a relationship.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Jesse, the good thing is that the fallout of the Jexy relationship is going to be appointment television, most likely. But again, like that is what these shows should be about. I don't know. I just feel like summer used to be fun.
I'm still having a good time with it, you guys, but we'll see where next episode goes. Really quickly about Southern Charm. It is weird that we finally found out that Shep's actual kink is getting humiliated in front of his friends, where he was like, I never would think that like this girl couldn't have been clearer about not being into him. And he kept pushing it. One, like thought a megalodon tooth
scary,
was gonna,
honestly. It was scary.
Yeah. Megalodon tooth was like a panty dropper in Shep's mind.
You know
or
what's
something.
crazy is that was the first gift that Henry got me, was a megalodon tooth necklace.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
No, I was joking.
Oh my god! I got so nervous for a second. I started sweating. Like my whole body started sweating. Oh my god! I got so scared because I was like, "Well, that was actually pretty cool." I thought it was a classy gift. I liked it. It was beautiful. But she's obviously. But imagine imagine all your friends saying like, "Dude, she doesn't like you," and then you're like, "No, please come to a dinner and watch me get rejected again." Like, why? I would do it separately away from all of my allegedly good friends. That part is the part where I'm like, "Thank you for letting us watch this along with your best friends. Thank you."
It's kind of like what we were talking about, that these reality stars realize what needs to be on camera. And I think Shep took one for the team, you know? And even
see, I want to believe that, but at the same time, dude, he really doesn't get it. Like,
I know.
He really thinks, because even his talking heads, he goes, she knows the truth. Like, wouldn't it be amazing to live your life like that, of like thinking that like
delusional narcissism? Like,
yeah, like if I thought just genuinely people like I've heard bad things about myself. If I was like, I know the truth, they actually love me. Like that's what it actually is.
No,
wouldn't
it's
that
actually
be amazing?
It was scary. Like it was actually kind of scary.
But
yeah,
so
I mean,
good.
like. But also amazing television. But you can
and then
tell
Craig Conover and Austin in each other's arms.
I'm a
crying.
lawyer and a storyteller.
Come on, dude. And I did a recap of that too, and I said I wasn't gonna make the meme, but then I got lonely yesterday, and I was like, I need something to fill the void, and so I made the meme of Craig's lawyer photo where he screams, "I'm a lawyer and a storyteller," which is like, is that for all the lawyers out there? Is that why you got into law, because you were told you were a good storyteller as a kid?
Also, he's like not a lawyer. He's like never been a practicing lawyer.
I feel like this is going to get litigious.
Is this going to get litigious, you guys?
This is going to get litigious for us. No, and I said, I posted this meme, and it's like, Craig has unblocked me now, and I know that potentially this will, I might get reblocked, but I just had to do it. I saw the lane, and I took it, and so I'm disappointed in myself, but it was such a funny line. And what did you think of the Shep and Austin conversation where they made up?
Oh, you mean Austin and Craig?
Sorry, yeah, Austin and Craig, sorry.
I mean, Craig coming to terms with the fact, or like admitting that he's a problem with alcohol, and then at the same time he was wasted, drunk, holding a bottle of champagne while having that conversation.
It was interesting to realize also how wasted they were during that conversation.
Yes.
You can just and I mean, I don't think they would lie about that. They were hammered. They were drinking Sambuca.
I mean, Craig has never claimed to be sober, but it's like you're admitting that you have a problem with the substance that you're using in this moment. So I feel like it doesn't land as much when he's talking about this is why I can't hang out with you, Austin, because I know I'm just going to like relapse. And it's like, well, you're literally like holding an entire bottle of champagne in your hand.
But did it kill you at all when he was like, that's why there's not a person that I'm closer in the world with than Paige. She was there. She saved me.
Yeah.
She saved me, brother. Like, I was like, oh.
I know he admits the fact that like Paige really like helped him get his shit together and realize that he had a problem or like saved him, whatever it was. So like at least I'm sure he's still thankful for her, even though obviously their relationship is no more. I feel like he's clearly still thankful that it happened, I'm sure. And also, I feel very vindicated as like kind of an Austin apologist. Everyone is really kind of into Austin this season.
I feel like that. I feel like it's a wash. You have the Jesse Solomon shit, and I really am not giving you any kind of credit for any of that.
Wait, remember when I was at a party once with Austin? Like Austin was there, and it was a summer house. It was like an episode of Summer House years ago, and I was like at that party. Had a conversation with Austin. I was like, yeah, he's tall, like he's hot. And then later I'm watching the episode of Summer House and Austin's like, there are no hot girls here.
What a bunch of uggos.
Like literally right after we had a conversation.
Jesus Christ, who let these ladies in? My God. But anyways, I thought it was a really, but also I was weirdly touched by their friendship. And also,
yeah.
I think it's okay for like what I do believe with Craig of like, you know, you talk about this image, but that's actually what I'm trying to be. And I think that's okay to actually, you know, try to grow up in certain ways. So I did understand it, you know, overall. So I thought that was great. Really quickly, this is not really my speed, but I just wanted to ask Sophie her quick thoughts on the new Meghan Markle Netflix series. They released all the episodes, and she kind of has a lifestyle brand, it seems like, where she's cooking with some of her friends like Mindy Kaling. You know, she has a lavender thing in her garden, and she's just being her. She's just being fun. I don't have the innate hatred for Meghan Markle that a lot of people seem to have at all. So I don't like, I'm almost hearing just like, I'm going to watch maybe an episode, even though I will say I know this is not my cup of tea because I can barely shower. But like, are you going to watch this? Have you watched this?
I've started watching it. And look, like I'm genuinely rooting for Meghan. I always have been. And I think that's why it's such a weird topic. Like I never want to criticize her because I feel like the people that hate Meghan Markle are like the worst people in the world. And a lot of them it's because they're racist. So like I am Team Meghan. I want to be Team Meghan, but like there's some moments where I'm just like, this is hard to defend. Like this isn't the moment. I feel like this just isn't the moment for that show. And I feel like I don't know if you read that Vanity Fair like expose on them that came out like a month or two ago. And it basically is about the fact that like everything they touch kind of turns to shit. Like nothing has been really successful so far. And I feel like this is just like another like grab, but it's like, I don't know. There's something like, I know that it's not actually filmed in their $14 million Santa Barbara mansion, but knowing that they live on a $14 million Santa Barbara compound and that money that has funded their, you know, and I know they're trying to make their own money now, but the money that has funded that $14 million Santa Barbara mansion was money from, you know, the backs of the people that the British monarchy has. It kind of just like falls flat for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really damned if you do, damned if you don't situation with them. And I even watched that miniseries, whatever that docu-series was on Netflix a couple years ago, where I loved it, but there were also moments where I'm like, you know, Meghan seems like a type of person. She'd be like, my love, come look at this little inlet, my love. My love, come walk at this little, you know, it's, you know, those moments are meant to be private moments, and sometimes I can get like, a little grating. But I do not understand the hate that she gets. So I'm going to watch this and see what I think, but it is.
Did you see the clip with Mindy Kaling?
Yeah.
Where she's trying to help Meghan like look more relatable. Meghan's like, oh yeah, I love Taco Bell, like whatever it was. And Mindy Kaling's like, oh my God, no one would guess that Meghan Markle loves Taco Bell. And Meghan just goes, it's so funny how you keep calling me that. You know, my name's Sussex now.
Yeah, she lets us know her last name is Sussex.
She's trying to help you be relatable. Like she's trying to help you.
I mean, it would be crazy though. Maybe this would be a good way to pivot with Megan is like, be like, just like a little jocular. Be like, oh my God, I've had the shits all day. It's going to be hard for me to be in this kitchen. Like if she like broed out a little bit, like I just get nervous for people because we do seem to have this intense hatred for people like Megan and, or, you know, obviously Blake Lively in the news. And I'm not saying anything about this case, but like you see the way that they're attacked in a way where like Jax Taylor attacked, but not, I mean, also Jax Taylor is nowhere near as successful as either of those people, but it is interesting in how we attack women compared to how we attack men.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh my God, because hello, we live in a patriarchy. That's like my favorite thing to say. We live in a patriarchy. In case
guys night. Okay, we got to wind down here, unfortunately, even though I could talk to Sophie for another hour, but she is in a very small place. But a couple of quick hits. What are you watching, Sophie? What are you enjoying this week?
I'm fully caught up on Severance. And
what did you think of this week's episode? Obviously a little weird because we go to visit Cobell's place where she grew up.
Harmony Cobell.
Harmony Cobell, Patricia Arquette, like watching her brush her teeth in like a snow, like it was a really interesting episode that gives you a lot of clues overall to how like what Keir is all about.
Hail Keir!
Hail Keir!
I'm starting to feel self-conscious that like maybe I'm too dumb for Severance. Like I just don't know, like the fact that I have to read a Reddit thread to like understand what just happened. Like, is that like me being stupid or is the show being too much? Is the show being too much?
No. First off, how dare you? I don't think the show's being too much. I think this is what I love is that it encourages you to go back and watch it multiple times to pick up on clues. But basically what I believe they are headed towards, and if you don't want spoilers, just skip this 1 minute, is like Keir Egan obviously started working in factories in his 20s. And he met his wife, but they took over this town, this ether making town, but then got everybody addicted to ether. And they also had like this school for girls and all these elements. And that's where Harmony Cobell met up, and we find out that Harmony Cobell is the actual person that invented the severance procedure. But what I believe, it's also just like, I think a diatribe on organized religion, on like, you know, false gods and people trapping other people. But I do think there's some element of them bringing Keir back in some way through the severance process. Like they are actually trying to find a way to bring consciousness back to those that have already left. And I believe that Mark potentially is, this could be way off, is some form of Egan, or they want to make him Egan in some way. And that's where the romantic relationship with Helena and Helly, who he's had sex with the innie and the outie, comes into play. I mean, Cold Harbor, they're also trying to make it so this procedure, they can like, if you're experiencing grief, that is your innie. Your outie will not have trauma from that.
See, like, again, like the fact that like you have to explain all of this to me, and
I didn't explain it well. I'm sorry, I didn't explain it that well.
No, but like it's getting a little confusing I think that I'm too simple-minded, and that's okay, you guys. Like it's okay to not be that smart.
Wait, you're not going to stop watching the show, are you?
No, obviously not. I'm not going to stop. I think that also watching, so I caught up on episode 7 and episode 8 all at once last night because I was 2 episodes behind, and watching the episode
wasn't 7
with
awesome?
Gemma. Yeah, it was awesome. It was like, there were so many things I loved about it, but at the same time, I was like, again, like a little bit confused about the different rooms and how they got her, how they chose her. And I think that those answers will be like answered. But again, it's like, I'm feeling a little stupid, you know? And maybe I need to listen to the Severance podcast. I know a lot of people listen to it.
I don't listen. I swear to God, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to that one. They don't do a lot of spoilers, but it really is interesting hearing them talk about it. But maybe have you ever considered taking like a learning annex class or like continuing your education in any way? I mean, like in TV viewing, I want to recommend.
The people listening to this, the baddies listening to this, are like, "You're so fucking stupid." Like, first you call it.
No, that's not. Stop. That's not true.
What did I litigus?
You even forgot the wrong way you pronounce the word now. No, people know you're like, no, people love you. Stop. But stop on that. But I want to recommend Paradise on Hulu. I've only watched 2 episodes, and I have not had the time to watch all 8 episodes, but I watched 2 because I'm really enjoying those first 2 episodes. So that is very exciting.
I heard that's good, and I also heard The Pit is good. So I feel like I
hear
need to watch that.
And I didn't realize the pit takes place all in one day. So each episode, it takes place in the same day.
It's like, okay, Mark Bauer. Wasn't that his name?
Jack Bauer
Jack
from 24.
So I couldn't even get. I'm sorry, you guys.
But I know what you're saying. Do you know this is how nerdy I used to be? I bought when 24, that show with Kiefer Sutherland was first out. I bought the soundtrack and I used to play it going to auditions, like I was like in an intense like battle, like Jack. Or you know, okay, I'm not.
It made you want to fight.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
Also, White Lotus tonight. I actually texted. So right
I'm
now,
liking this season.
Oh, I'm liking it. I think it's a really slow burn so far, but I heard that the payoff is worth it. And I like all the characters. Don't you like the
characters?
Yeah,
like
I like the characters.
Goggins? Like, come on.
I like the characters and how they're building out these characters.
It's just not as overtly comedic as the first two seasons were.
Yeah, and I think it's just a really slow burn so far. But I'm excited to see what the payoff is. I think this is the 4th episode, I think, tonight that's airing. And I think this might be where it starts to pick up from what I've heard. So I'm excited. I texted, my sister and brother-in-law and Henry, and I was like, you're not allowed to start it until I'm done with this.
Okay, sorry, you guys. Don't hate me, Amanda and all the family over there. But also I want to remind people, Real Housewives of Atlanta dropped tonight, a new season. I am going to watch that and try to cover that on this show. I'm excited that it's back. The Baldwins is on TLC. Gypsy Rose, the 2nd season of her reality show, premieres tonight on Lifetime. And I was a huge fan of Just Gypsy. I mean, it's not called Just Gypsy. It's called...
Oh, it should be. Like, why isn't it called that?
We said that on a show a year ago. Also, Lori Vallow was on Dateline this past Friday. I'm going to talk about that on the Patreon because I have a fixation on certain cases, and that is one of them. Congratulations to Gabby Windey from the Traitors for getting married to her girlfriend, Robbie Hoffman, the comedian. Gabby Windey is a superstar now because of the Traitors. She was already amazing, but now she is a superstar. What's coming up on Snark Bait this week?
Ooh.
Why do you always say ooh? Like, ooh. Like, what is it? Who is it?
I think that this is going to be an exciting one. I guess I'll just spoil it. It's funny because on Snark Bait, I'm like, guys, I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to have to like listen and see what we have in store. But I'll tell you guys, we're doing Giggly Squad. We're doing a deep dive on Hannah Berner and Paige DeSorbo because there's a lot of lore there.
You know what?
And I think that, it's timely.
But also just from a production standpoint, that's a smart episode to release right at this moment. And I could afford to think a little clearer in terms of my release episodes because that's brilliant because everybody really is talking about that. Are you getting any sort of health insurance if the Googlers come after you?
The Googlers.
The Gigglers.
You know what? Like, let them. Mel Robbins.
Let them. Shut up. Such an idiot. Let them. Okay. So Snark Bait. And by the way, I will be suing because go follow Snark Bait on Instagram. They did a bingo card and they put trigger warning Ryan Bailey.
Oh yeah, you guys.
So offensive and hurtful in so many ways. This will be Sophie's last episode was so bad it's good. And
Ryan,
that is
wait.
it.
If you don't know the context, you guys.
I know the joke. I know the joke.
Okay, just
explain
sure.
the joke to the.
So basically, like, I mention Ryan all the time on Snark Bait because, like, I assume that everyone knows Ryan, obviously, because, like, I think that anyone who knows me only discovered me through Ryan. Like, I owe him my life. So someone commented once and was like, "Stop mentioning Ryan Bailey." I don't know who that. Ryan
probably
hates it.
Probably one of my relatives or something.
I just thought it was so funny because I did not think that was possible for someone to know who I was, but not Ryan. Anyway, so now whenever we mention Ryan Bailey, which is all the time.
Well, eventually, I feel like it's going to flop the other way and people are only going to know me through you because I did bring you up in my Summer House recap just about how disappointed I was about the Jesse Solomon of it all. But I threw in a plug for Snark Bait, so I feel like I can criticize you if I throw in a plug for Snark Bait as well. So go listen. Also, I want to say this too. I get it because we joke around and all that stuff, but like, I read Maritza was like, why are you doing that? Like I don't see all the comments and I don't read all the reviews sometimes because I try to protect myself. Like one got through where I saw it and I got to tell you, almost like ruined a day for me where I was
Oh,
like,
it stings.
oh, like I was like, oh, this hurts. And like, you don't, I don't know. Like, but I get it. Like, there's no use in complaining about it, but I will say, sometimes you're like, I am way too sensitive for this line of work. And I can't, because this show is still growing. Your show is going to keep growing. It's hard. And I guess that's just like, you have to get this thick skin.
You have to have a thick skin. And also something that I talk about with Christy, my co-host of Snark Bait, is that like, you will have, obviously, we talk about this also, 99% positive feedback. And then you have that 1% that ruins your day. But you don't do it for either the positive or the negative. You don't do this for praise. You do it because you love it.
I do it because I love it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, you're not doing it for anyone else. So it's about not internalizing any of it. Even the compliments, don't let it get to your head because you're not doing it for them anyway. You're doing it for you.
Yeah, but it would be cool if we got more compliments. I mean,
yeah,
I'll just
that
throw
would
it
be
out
nice.
there. That would be cool. But anyways, 5 stars on Snark Bait, 5 stars on So Bad It's Good. Support us in those ways. Go follow all of us on Instagram. Support what you love. So that is the message I want to leave you with. And I know it's been a crazy 2025 and it'll probably get crazier, but keep coming back to us. Keep coming back to Snark Bait. We'll try to put a smile on your face or just try to stumble through how to pronounce words and things of that nature. So thank you for being with us on this journey. And Sophie, go watch White Lotus with your family right now.
Thank you and good night.
Okay, that was...